Okay, so we're diving into something super interesting today. Different ways of eating and how they affect not just like how your clothes fit, your physical health, but your mental game too, which I think is huge GE. Like, it's not just about looking good, it's about like feeling amazing, like inside out.
Absolutely.
And we're looking at the Mediterranean diet, the ketogenic diet, and the plant-based diet.
Okay.
And we've got some seriously interesting research to unpack.
Yeah, it's interesting what we're seeing.
Yeah.
A real shift from people just wanting to like lose weight fast to like really thinking about preventing chronic diseases long term,
Yeah.
and how the food we eat, like day in and day out,
Yeah.
how that affects our bodies over time.
Yeah, it's like you were saying earlier, you want sustainable changes, not just these like quick fixes.
Exactly.
And understanding like how these different ways of eating affect things like inflammation in your body, your energy levels long term, that's key.
That's huge.
So let's start with the Mediterranean diet. It's always hailed as like the heart-healthy superstar, right?
Right.
But have you ever wondered like why? What is it about that way of eating?
Yeah, it's more than just the delicious food, although that's definitely a bonus.
Right. It's so good.
It's like, think about this.
Yeah.
The Mediterranean diet, it's all about those like vibrant, colorful fruits and veggies, healthy fats. All those things are packed with antioxidants, which are like, they're like little warriors fighting off inflammation in your body.
Okay, so it's like fighting fire with delicious food.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And that makes a lot of sense considering all the studies that link this way of eating to a lower risk of heart problems.
Absolutely.
And I don't know about you, but I'm all about keeping my heart happy.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is that it's not just the heart.
Okay.
This reduction in inflammation, it can benefit your brain too.
Interesting.
Yeah, cognitive function, all connected.
Wow. Keeping our brains in tip-top shape, right?
Absolutely.
That's key.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the Mediterranean diet, fighting that inflammation with all that like colorful, delicious food.
Right, yeah.
Now let's talk about keto.
Right.
Ketogenic diet, it's known for weight loss, right?
Yeah.
That's like the big thing. It gets your body into fat burning mode.
Right.
And you were talking about wanting sustained energy, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of like keto fans, they talk about this like mental clarity, focus they get from it.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you drastically reduce carbs, right, which is what keto does.
Okay.
High fat, moderate protein, very low carb. It forces your body to start using fat for fuel, right? Instead of the usual glucose from carbs.
Gotcha.
And that's that state of ketosis that everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
And that can lead to weight loss. But some people, what they experience is this like almost like a mental boost.
Interesting.
From having that like steady stream of energy from fat.
It's like brain fog just gone. Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like the idea of giving up carbs even temporarily like makes me nervous.
Right.
Like, don't we need those for our brains too?
You absolutely do. And that's where the conversation gets really interesting.
Okay.
When you start thinking about like long term.
Yeah.
Because, carbohydrates, they're actually super important for producing serotonin in your brain.
Oh.
Which is like your happy hormone.
Right.
It affects your mood, your sleep, even like how hungry you feel.
Wow.
So it's a trade-off.
Oh, okay. So you might get this like boost at first, but if you're restricting carbs long term,
Right.
you could be messing with your serotonin.
Potentially, yeah.
And like your mood and your well-being overall.
Exactly. And, everyone responds to these dietary changes differently.
Totally.
So it's really about finding what works for you.
Finding your sweet spot.
Exactly.
Okay, so keto is like really limiting the carbs, right?
Yeah.
Mediterranean is all about like those healthy carbs. Now plant-based.
Right,
It's having a moment, right?
It is, yeah.
For good reason, I think. For like ethical reasons and for health reasons.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned that you're really interested in like how your food choices affect your health long term.
Yeah, definitely prevention's key.
Prevention is key, absolutely. So what about the plant-based diet? What does the research say about like chronic diseases? So we've got keto limiting carbs, Mediterranean's about those good carbs, now plant-based.
Wow.
What's the deal with plant-based and chronic disease? What does the research say?
Well, there's a lot of research coming out now, and it looks like plant-based diets could be really powerful for preventing chronic diseases.
Okay.
Like, studies are showing a strong link between eating plant-based and a lower risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even certain cancers. It's pretty amazing.
Wow, that's huge. Like, changing what you eat could really have that big of an impact down the line.
It seems that way, yeah. It's like giving your body the tools it needs to stay healthy long term.
Okay, so what is it about eating plant-based that makes such a difference?
Well, one big thing is all the fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients you're getting from fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains.
Right.
Those are like the superstars of the plant world, and they all work together to protect your cells from damage, reduce inflammation.
So it's like giving your body a tune-up from the inside out.
Exactly. Yeah, like a system reboot.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and we've been talking a lot about physical health,
Right, yeah.
but what about mental clarity? You mentioned wanting to improve focus and mood.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, there's some really interesting research suggesting that plant-based diets can have a positive impact on cognitive function, mood, even sleep quality.
Really?
Yeah, because those plant-based foods are packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, all the things your brain needs to function at its best.
Wow, it's amazing how connected it all is, what we eat affecting not just our bodies, but our minds, too.
It really is. And when you look at the Mediterranean, keto, and plant-based diets, they all have one thing in common:
What's that?
the emphasis on whole, unprocessed foods.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's about focusing on real food over processed stuff, making sure you're getting a variety of nutrients.
Like, no matter what diet you're following, that's just good advice for everyone, right?
Absolutely. It's about making sustainable changes that make you feel your best.
So it sounds like incorporating more whole foods into our diets, that's a good first step for anyone, no matter what.
Definitely. It's a great place to start.
It's all about finding what works for you, right?
Exactly. Your own personal sweet spot.
Well, this has been super interesting. Thank you so much for diving into all this research with me.
My pleasure. I always enjoy these conversations.
And for our listeners, remember, the best diet is the one you can stick with, and that makes you feel amazing, happy eating everyone.